program. So in general, in the policy, there is a huge difference between before and after the MBKM has been implemented. BA program or bachelor degree program in Indonesia commonly requires students to complete 144 credit hours in home study program. So students will study throughout semester 1 through to semester 7 or 8 in their home study program. But when the students decide that they want to join MBKM program, so the 144 credit hours will be divided into two. The first one, around 84 to 90 credit hours will be completed by the students in their home study programs. And when they have finished semester 4, students can take up to 60 credit hours to be completed at other study programs or through field works. So there is a flexibility in the variation of learning experience that can be taken up by the students if they choose to do MBKM. So the policy has changed curriculum structure significantly, because now every study program has to reformulate what they mean by core competencies in their field. So students will be given opportunity from semester 1 through to semester 4 to complete 84 to 90 credit hours learning about their core competencies, and plus a 10 credit thesis project in semester 7 or 8. And if a student choose to do MBKM, they can have competitive advantage tailored to suit their interests or needs, which is acquired through field works or learning in other study programs. So starting from semester 5, students, semester 5, 6, and 7, students can study in other study program that they think relevant with their needs, or they can take up off-campus learning activities like internship, or they can also do independent study. And what does it mean to initial language teacher education? We've been sitting with the Association of English Language Study Program, which gather people from similar study program which teach English language teaching. We've been sitting to talk about how we can formulate our graduate profiles. So in our own study program, we divide graduate profiles into two areas. The first one we define as main profile, and the second one we define it as hybrid profile. This affect the definition of competency profile that we provide for our students. So we now have core competencies and also competitive advantages that can be taken up by the students. And also this affect the learning outcomes that we have defined within our program structure. So we have main learning outcomes and also customized learning outcomes. This is a huge difference, a huge change in our graduate profiles. Now in Jambi University's English language study program, we have defined that our main graduate profile is to produce English language teachers. So they have to have language teacher competencies. And also we allow students to explore entrepreneurship in language-based creative industries or relevant fields that they interest them. In this second major or additional competencies, we are trying to train students to have entrepreneurial mindset, so they can get engaged in a lot of project in entrepreneurship, which is based on language, English language skills. So our main competencies are defined into three broad range. The first one is English language skills, and also TEFL related courses, and also linguistics. And for the competitive advantages that the students can take up, we are offering elective courses in English skills-based entrepreneurship, like creative writing or translation. We also offer students to study technology and media for educational content creators. And also for students who have personal interest, and they want to propose learning activities tailored based on their personal interest, we also have a room for this kind of learning activities. For example, we found that some of our students are interested in taking up courses or competencies in educational leadership. So we collaborate with a relevant study program to give the students opportunity to study outside our study program to learn about how to become educational leaders. So I'm giving an example on how we have evaluated our curriculum based on the MBKM requirement. For example, in curriculum 2017, which is the curriculum before we revise, we have 3 separate courses of morphology, phonology, and syntax. And when we redefine the core competencies of an English language teacher, we found that we don't have to go into details when we are training our student in the field of morphology, phonology, and syntax, but instead we just need to prepare them to have a knowledge in morphology, phonology, and syntax, which is needed or required for their job as English teachers later on. So we don't go into advanced morphology, phonology, and syntax. So in curriculum to 2021, we reduced the credit hour for these 3 linguistic courses and combine the courses into one single courses, 4 credit course that we call linguistic description of English. So there is a reduction on the quantity of the credit hour of these 3 courses. And when students have completed the 4 semester that where they learn their core competencies, starting from semester 5, students can choose of campus learning models, which is allowed by the MBKM policy. There are actually 8 basic models in MBKM activity. The first one is students exchange. So, for example, a student of English language teaching study program can study up to 20 credit hours in media study program. For example, if they are aspired to become a content creator in education, so they can learn technology and media in the relevant study program. And the other 7 models of MBKM learning can be done in the field or off campus. The first one is internship. Second one is teaching assistance. We also offer research assistance, humanitarian project, entrepreneurship project, rural development project, and also independent project. So these 8 models can be selected by our students who are interested in doing MBKM. We have done implementation of MBKM for 3 semesters now. So we've gathered a bit of early insights from the field, in particular from the ministry pilot projects. There are a lot of projects launched by the Ministry of Education and Culture, which train universities to offer relevant learning experience to their students. So some stories from the field highlight that MBKM has strengthened the connectivity between academia, business and industry, community, government, and media. So there is a strengthening connectivity between campus and also stakeholders, business and industries, creative industries in particular, which is very relevant with language learners. And also students are engaged in some community services where they work closely with the community. And also this is also a very high time for the media as the catalyst of innovation. So academia conceptualize the innovation, and the media become the catalyst that bring the innovation into the community. And the second story comes from students' testimony when they tell stories to campus about their field work. There is a comprehensive acquisition of hard skills and soft skills. So apart from their learning of hard skill, students are also learning a lot the 6 Cs of the 21st century: compassion and character, communication, collaboration, creativity and innovation, critical thinking and problem solving, community and citizenship. This experience is allowed by their close work with the community, because there is actual problem solving strategy that they implement, which is cannot be created in traditional classroom. And also another highlight from the field is we can do integrated Tridharma. Tridharma perguruan tinggi means the main responsibility of higher education, which are in 3 main areas: teaching, research, and community services. So students and lecturers can do collaborated project when doing community service. So there is a balance between giving and receiving from the community. So I think from these early stories from the field, MBKM have highlighted, have offered us a lot of opportunities despite many challenge from the field, because it is very difficult to control or anticipate what the field has brought to add to the students' learning. I think that is from me. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you for Ibu Delita Sartika, PhD. So I would like to invite from the audience, if you have any question, please write it in the chat box while so now we have Q&A session. If you have any question, please write your question in the chat box. While I'm waiting for your question, I would like to share about the biography of Ibu Delita Sartika, PhD. So she, from her education background, she took her bachelor degree in Universitas Andalas, and then continue her master and doctoral degree in Monash University, Australia, majoring in literary and cultural studies. And actually, for the topic that she shared today, based on her experience, because she was the head of English study program in University of Jambi from 2017 until 2020. And then she also became the head of language education program department in University of Jambi from 2020 until 2021. And now she became the vice dean of academic. So I'm still waiting for question. If there is no one who write the question, you can also raise your hand. We have one attendant here, please. Siapa ini? Mana yang Kelly nggak ada. I'm sorry for the information, additional information. Please write your question in the Q&A answer option instead of chat box. Okay, maybe I will raise a question for Ibu Delita. So, related with the program MBKM, is there any benefits that the students can get from this program? Because you know, all the universities in Indonesia are still struggling in implementing this program.
Right. Thank you very much, Bureli. I think there are a lot of interesting stories from students who have come back from the field. From practical to conceptual benefits that they can share with us. I know that MBKM is a very flexible format. So most of the students who we sent to the field in the past 3 semesters are doing the ministry's project. So not the initiative from study program. They have presented that there are some challenges because not all of the activities, learning activities in the program are related to the field of English language teaching. But they share their experience that it is a collaborative project. So meeting people is the most significant benefit that they can add into their CV. So apart from that, some of the programs are also financed by the ministry. So they have they receive money from the project, and it's a huge benefit for most of the students. And also apart from doing collaborative project from students from other study programs, they also feel that the engagement with the community give them a sense of compassion, opportunity to sharpen their civic responsibility. So I think there are still a lot to be explored from the implementation of MBKM. In University of Jambi, we plan to strengthen the quality of our partners. So we can select partners that can really give our students the appropriate working experience. In the past few semesters, we cannot do that because we still have received the mandatory projects from the Ministry of Education and Culture. I think those are some stories that I can share with the audience today.
Bu Delita. Now let's continue to the next question from Bapak Lukman Tanjung. So the question is, how can we ensure that the requirement of the curriculum is met when students participate in MBKM?
This is a very interesting question because this type of questions have been raised in many MBKM forum. Because of the policy require us to strengthen the core competencies and reduce it from 144 credit hours to up to 84 to 90 credit hours. So actually the extra 60 credit hours that we can provide to students are very flexible. So students can tailor the learning activities and also the competency that they think they need or according to their personal interests. So it will be an opportunity for the students to really expand. Beside being a prospective language teacher, they can explore other relevant fields by using their English skills. So becoming an entrepreneur in language-based creative industry is one of the flexible model of learning that the students can explore.
Okay, thank you. We have another question from Bapak Saharudin. Actually, the question quite similar with my first question. That is, do you think that it will be useful for the students' future? I mean, by them participating in MBKM?
Yep. The question is it possible the PKN students in FKIP to have their MKO English class? Okay. English course is a mandatory course required by the University of Jambi because of their vision to become an international institution. So every student in S1 and D3 degree is required to do to credit our English course, I think. So what Pak Sahar is asking, if it is possible, if other students outside the English study program can join English, can learn English from English study program. I think there is a very possible opportunity for them if they want to advance their English. So 2 credit hours is not enough for anyone who wants to, who thinks that English is very important in today's field work or labor market. So if they want to advance their English by maybe taking up advanced English skill courses, they can actually study in the English language study program. So they can take up to 20 credit hours by probably learning creative writing or academic writing from the curriculum of English language study program. So it's very possible.
Okay, from the audience, do we have another questions? Siapa lagi nih?
Yep, there is another question there. Is there an international student exchange in the MBKM program? If so, then what are the requirements required to register and fulfill the program? Okay, this is also a very interesting question, because we are in the phase after doing MBKM for 3 semesters. We are now striving to improve the quality of partnership, including the possibility to engage with partners in abroad higher education. So University of Jambi have explored the possibility to link with the university in Thailand and also Vietnam to do students exchange. And some of the students have been studying in English language study program actually in Jambi University, but we haven't sent any students yet to a foreign university. But I think it's in the main agenda of the University of Jambi. So perhaps in a very close near future, students of Jambi University can be sent to foreign university.
Okay, I think we also have another question. I think this is from students, because the question is, do we English education students have the same career opportunity as many as English literature student has, since education students often being expected to be a teacher? Is there any specialty that make us have more value to be seen?
All right. Sally, thank you for the question. It is a very good question. I think if you remember one of my slides, in the current curriculum of English language study program, we have reduced the teaching of prospective English language teacher into a 4 semester. So from semester 1 through to semester 4 is the teaching of core competencies required to become English teacher. But from semester 5 to 7, if you are interested in other relevant field, you can propose to our study program to like customize or tailor your learning activity that suits your personal interest or needs. So for example, if you want to do advanced linguistics, we can send you in an students exchange program, perhaps maybe to study up to 20 credit hour linguistic advanced linguistic courses in English literature department in your choice of university. So you can learn there maybe more advanced linguistic courses if you really are interested in doing that. Or apart from that, maybe you want to be doing student exchange with a media study program to learn about technology and also content creating. So you can propose a learning activity based on your interests. So I think that will answer your question if there is a specialty that or added value that you can offer to prospective employer later when you graduate from the study program. Thank you.
Okay, so for our English education students, don't worry. Okay, you don't have to become a teacher. We have many opportunities. Yeah, we have other alternatives. So let's continue with the next question from Ibu Susana. So the question is there any requirement about what courses you can take outside your major? Is it really interdisciplinary, or are there limitations of choosing the interdisciplinary course?
Thank you, Ibu Susan. Hello. How are you? It's one of my colleagues. It's nice to see you in the forum. Thank you for the question. I think there is a very wide range of definitions of Merdeka in the MBKM or Merdeka Belajar Kampus Merdeka. Some institutions go to the extreme. They say that the students can take up anything that they have interest on. But in our university, especially in our faculty, I think we have implemented a soft approach in defining Merdeka in MBKM. So we strengthen the role of academic supervisors in order to like guide students to choose or to select how to explore their interest, but still relevant with their main competency. So for example, when students are interested in doing entrepreneurship project in creative writing, for example, it's still relevant because in their main competency, they have learned a lot about English language skills. So the definition, we still implementing a very soft approach in defining Merdeka in Merdeka Belajar Kampus Merdeka. We don't give that kind of very extreme freedom because we know that some of the concept of MBKM is coming from a minister who maybe spent a lot of his educational background in foreign country, abroad, I mean. And there is common, it is common for the students in a foreign country to assess their freedom since their primary school. But that is not the issue in Indonesian context of education. From primary school to up to higher high school, students are given a very definite learning packet. So they are not really accustomed to how to assess their freedom in learning. So we need to like guide students softly to assess how they can add value to their main competency, not like a very free choice for them. I hope that answered your question.
Yeah. I think I can understand Bu Susana worries. Yeah, is it possible for English education student to take, for example, courses in engineering and in engineering department? Is it possible? Yeah, yeah. Well, actually, we're not that free. There are some rules in our faculty related to the courses that can be taken, but by our students. Okay, I think that's the answer for Ibu Susan. Is there anyone would like to ask? Okay, so I would like to read a question from Pak Saharudin. So he asked, if in the issue of MBKM, is it possible the PKM students in FKIP to have their MKU English class together with the English students rather than having their English together with the PKN students?
Okay. I think I have answered that one question. So it's possible for other students to join or take up one full semester in our study program. So maybe they want to learn advanced language skills. They can propose to study in English language study program, in our study program. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, I think we still have another question from Reni Anggraini. Okay, Assalamualaikum. I am Reni Anggraini, Pancasila and Citizenship Education Study Program. So her question is, has the MBKM program been running according to the structure described?
Right, thank you, Reni. This is a dangerous question, actually. I wanted to lie, but I have to be honest. There are a lot of things that we cannot anticipate when we send students to the field. So, but we are striving to make it better practice by formulating a more rigid procedure for selecting students that met or satisfy the requirement for internship. And also we have done a lot of agenda to improve our partnership. So not all things run smoothly according to the structure that we have described, but we have to know that MBKM is a very flexible concept and there is no rigid format from the ministry. So everyone is being experimental in implementing this policy. So I think in the near future, we are in a stage to do evaluation of the 4 semesters that we have been implementing in MBKM. So maybe from the practice from the previous 4 semester, we can do some improvement to our programs. So the first agenda is to improve partnership. So we can select a very high quality partners to enable our students to gain proper insight from the field work or from relevant labor market. So the second one is by selecting students who satisfy the requirement for each of the program in MBKM. I think there's still a lot that needs to be done so that the students can really see benefits from engaging in an MBKM program. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Ibu Delita. So we still have another question from our students ya, yang sepertinya termasuk cukup galau. Karena the question is, do you recommended MBKM for us that who are still confused about the program, whether they have to take it or not, because some of them are dalam tanda kutip mager gitu ya, they like to have their own activity to do at home, but actually they also want to join MBKM because it looks promising if it being done offline. So what do you think?
Well, personally, I really recommend that you take up at least 1 semester doing MBKM. You can talk to your academic supervisors or come to the head of school's office, or come to me to talk about the benefit that you can get from doing MBKM. Or you can also talk to your peers, maybe some students from our study program that have completed 1 or 2 semesters doing MBKM and gain their insights about how they can excel in the MBKM program. So I personally really recommend that you take up at least 1 semester doing MBKM. Maybe by learning in other study programs, so you can meet people outside your regular classmates.
So if I have to conclude, please guys, be brave, okay? Try new things. Challenge yourself to the limits. I think that's what Budalita wants to say, right?
Exactly.
Okay, if we don't have more question, I would like to end this question and answer session. I would like to thank Budalita for your detailed explanation and also your inspiration for the students. Hopefully, they will be more optimistic in seeing MBKM and join this program in the next semester. So I think that's all for this session. I would like to give the floor back to the MC.
Thank you very much, everyone.
All right. Thank you for Ms. Delita Sertika, PhD, and also Dr. Eli Handayani. Then we move to our second speaker, which is Mrs. Yusma Yusuf MA with Dr. Muklas Abrar as moderator. Floor is yours.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Good morning, everyone. Our keynote speaker, Ms. Yusma bin Yusuf MA, and also good morning for all the audience. I hope you are all healthy and happy. Well, let me introduce myself first. My name is Muklas Abrar, and I'm responsible for the second session of this, and we have our special guest, that is Ms. Yusma bin Yusuf MA. But before she explains about language and jobs in TVET Malaysia, I would like to read her curriculum vitae. She was born in Penang in 1967. She obtained her degree, bachelor and also master degree from the University of Warwick in Coventry, United Kingdom. She began her career as an English language teacher in schools in Penang before joining Polytechnic coaching in 1993. And at present, she is Director of Industry of Community Collaboration Division, Department of Polytechnics and Community College Education, Ministry of Higher Education, Malaysia. Good morning, Ms. Yusma Yusuf.
Good morning, Muklas. How are you?
Alhamdulillah, I'm fine. How about you?
It has been raining in Malaysia, though. How about in Jambi?
In Jambi, it's shining. Yeah, it's shining in Jambi.
That's great. I just hope I could just fly over to Jambi rather than being stuck here.
Okay. Hopefully next 2 years we will do it offline, not online like this.
I mean.
Okay, but before I give the floor to you, and then I would like to remind the participants that there will be two sections, two parts of this this session. The first part is the first 45 minutes will be the explanation from our keynote speaker, and the last 15 minutes will be question and answer. For those of you who wants to ask Ms. Yusma Binti Yusuf MA, you can directly write down your question in the question and answer section. I think that's for me, and then I would like to without further ado, I would like to welcome Ms. Yusma Yusuf to explain about the language and jobs in TVET Malaysia. Okay, time is yours.
Thank you, Muklas. Can someone upload my presentation?
Please wait a second.
All right, okay. But anyway, thank you so much, Muklas, for that introduction. And I have to thank Bapak Tubagus as well, Ibu Wakyuni, for inviting me to this session. And I have to say that I love the session just now by Ibu Delita. I have gained some insights into your education system. So thank you very much, Ibu Delita. And I see that there is a component for whereby you can actually do practice, teaching practice. So you are most welcome if you want to do it in Polytechnic Malaysia or community colleges in Malaysia. So you can actually do that part in Malaysia. So that I suppose excites your course a little bit more. Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh dan salam sejahtera. Very good morning to everybody. I see that's a lot of students here, so I hope I can actually give some kind of new information for you to take back. I hope, yeah. But anyway, again, thank you so much. Thank you to all the academic members of Universitas Jambi, fellow presenters, ladies and gentlemen. I thank you again for giving me the chance to join your Eduticon 2021. I have to say that I love your tagline or your theme, which is linking and matching EFL students, education and market demand. So that's really cool because that then inspire me to come up with probably a simple research on how we should analyze and see whether what we have done or are doing in our institution benefit the students directly, and whether they can actually use the thing that they learn in the institution at the workplace. Yeah. Can I have my slide, please?
Miss
Yes.
Miss Yusma bin Yusuf, yeah, I mean, you have been you are now a panelist, so you can. Will it be possible for you to
Okay, I'll
to
share.
the slide? Yeah.
All right. Okay, I'll try to find my slide where it is. Okay.
Here we go.
There we go. All right. And can you see my slide?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So
Still in the
language and
process.
jobs in TVET Malaysia. So as I said just now, I thank you I thank Universitas Jambi for coming up with this team, linking and matching EFL students, education and market demand.
Not yet.
Because
I'm sorry. We just see the screen of your computer. We haven't seen the slide yet.
All right, because here I have on my screen, I can see my slide. Oh. Okay, I'll try again. Is that cool? Can you see it?
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, that's good.
Okay,
Yeah.
I think I just
Okay.
I just maintain this at I'm not going to do this slideshow, yeah, because just now I do slideshow and you can't see my screen, so I'll just go with it. Okay, I'm sorry about that. As I've mentioned just now, the theme that you have come up with inspire me to look in depth into whether what we are doing at the Polytechnic system and community colleges actually benefit the students or not, as far as language is concerned. So TVET stands for Technical Vocational Education and Training. I'm not sure whether this is a familiar term in Indonesia, but if you have engineering courses, I'm sure TVET comes into it. But in our case, Polytechnic Malaysia actually offers more on students who will graduate to become supervisors and technicians, still in the technical field, yeah. Right, just an introduction to Polytechnic Malaysia, since I have 45 minutes, okay. We have about 36 polytechnics in the entire of Malaysia, not very many, 36 polytechnics only, and about 104 community colleges. So what kind of courses do we offer? We offer courses that are very much into the engineering section. For example, we have mechanical engineering, electrical, civil engineering. We also have courses that relates to commerce. For instance, we have accounting, business studies, and whatnot. And apart from that, we also go for the niche area of IR 4.0. We have courses related to marine or maritime. We have courses that relates to the learning of drone and mobile and stuff like that. Okay. So what is the difference between Polytechnic and community colleges in Malaysia? Just for your extra information, Muklash. Polytechnics offer courses from degree until from diploma until degree, whereas community colleges offer courses, most of them are certificate courses as well as some diploma courses. And the pattern, or if you like, the curriculum consists of 70% hands-on for community colleges and 60% hands-on for Polytechnic. So that's how we structure our study or our curriculum. So having said that, I have to mention here that I'm glad to mention that in the world of TVET in Malaysia, Polytechnic under the Ministry of Higher Education contributes almost 50% of the workforce in Malaysia. So we have 10 other players from other ministries. For example, Ministry of Agriculture will have courses that relates to agriculture, also under TVET. We have Ministry of Sports, Youth and Sports, also offer courses, programs, diploma programs that relates to sports and youth, but that is under their jurisdiction. So as I've mentioned just now, we are representing TVET Malaysia because we contribute 50% of the workforce in Malaysia. Now, how will I do that for today's presentation? My content will be, I will take you through the English language learning in TVET, and then I will do a little bit of literature review. I will also look at the economic scenario, especially in today's situation. Yeah, Muklash, after the pandemic, economy goes down and stuff like that. So we were thrown into a turmoil for a while, especially in Malaysia. And then we will see how that impacts employment among Polytechnic graduates. And then as I've mentioned just now, your theme inspired me to do a little bit more. So I've conducted a very simple survey to all my alumni, and they have some of them written back, and we will see what are the findings. Yeah. Okay, so as you know, being Malaysian, English language is actually our second language. It is not a foreign language to us. By law, it is granted as a second language. So when I do my my English language training, I did it as English as a second language, not English as a foreign language. Why do we put English as a second language? You have to ask our ancestors, because it went back all to 1957. Before that, when we were actually conquered by the British. So we are very much influenced by the British. In fact, until today, I would say even the pronunciation that we use are very much, I'm not saying that I actually speak British English there, no, not at all, but it's more towards that kind of thing, you know, rather than being influenced by the American English. But that is my generation. Okay, as you have mentioned just now, I was born in 1967. So for my generation, we are very much influenced by the British English. However, if you talk to today's generation, if you look at our YouTubers or our TikTokers, you will see that they use more of the American English, or if you like, they actually mix all kind of Englishes in their content. Okay. So we are influenced by a lot of other types of Englishes. But basically, if you talk about English language learning in Malaysia, we started learning English as early as the age of 6. Now, if you are privileged and born in this, we call it the privileged group, then probably English will be your mother tongue. But to most of us, English begins as a second language when we enter preschool at the age of 6. Nowadays, and it goes up until primary 1 until primary 6, so age 7 to 12. So what I mean is that every day they will have one session of English class in the school. So it's almost like, or they have a number of hours that they have to finish, but it's compulsory subject. You cannot play truant with this subject. You have to take it whether you like it or not. Before this, we have a major exam at the age of 12. We call it UPSR, where we analyze the level of our students at that age and see whether they are good or no good. But basically in five subjects, we analyze them in their science, mathematics, Bahasa Melayu, as well as English. Bahasa Melayu, they have 2 papers, and Bahasa Inggeris as well. So as you can see, English plays a very important part in our life. And of course, the subject continues. We continue to learn the language when we enter secondary 1 at the age of 13 until they graduated from secondary school at the age of 17. So they have to take English basically for so many years, from the age of 6 until 17, that is compulsory. So by average, all Malaysians, if they have gone through the schooling system, they would have known English. Minimum could be, maybe elementary levels, because some of them you don't know how much they have learned in schools, but at least they know some English after they have graduated from high school. And of course, English is also a compulsory subject when they go into pre-degree courses, like we have matriculation, we have foundation courses, we have diploma courses. So if they take a pre-degree courses or foundation courses that runs probably 1 to 2 years, they probably have 1 or 2 subjects of English in there. And the best part about it is that if you want to enter degree courses in universities in Malaysia, you have this exam called MUET, Malaysian University English Test. So you have to take MUET, and you have to pass with a certain marks. For example, if you want to go into English language teaching, you have to have at least a band 5 or band 4, at least to graduate. You must have a band 4 or band 5. I'm not sure, but anyway, you have a certain band that you have to graduate. The lowest is band 1, and the highest is band 6. Band 6 is actually almost native speakers, if you like. Yeah, as I mentioned again, in order to graduate from Malaysian universities at degree level, you must graduate with MUET, probably depending on your course. If you are taking law, probably MUET band 5. You have to graduate with band 5. So if you enter, upon entering year 1, you have taken MUET, but you only get band 2, you have to work very hard in order to get band 5 before you graduate. If you do not get the targeted band, you will not be able to graduate. I have had cases of my students and also my relative for that matter, engineering, for example, they have to graduate with a band 3. So it's not a very high band, it's only a band 3. But even if they have passed all the other subjects and they fail to pass their MUET at that particular band, they will not get their degree. They can go and work, but they will not they have their convocation, if you say, if you like. So sometimes students, although they have finished their courses, their technical courses, but if they do not get the right mark or the right band for MUET, they might have to extend their studies for another 2 or 3 semesters just to make sure that they get the right band. So that's how serious we are when we talk about English language and at the workplace as well as at our universities. Anyway, that is the story of universities, not so much in the Polytechnic system. Our Polytechnic offers the diploma courses. And as you can see in my slide, you can see on the right side, the entry requirement for Polytechnic, you only need to have a pass in English. So a pass in SPM for English, or the Sijil Pendidikan Malaysia, Malaysian Education Certificate, yeah. Malaysian Certificate of Education. So you only need a pass, and that is not very difficult to get a pass at our SPM level. Yeah, so you get a pass, you can enter Polytechnic. But of course, our system goes by merit. So if you have every year we have about 450,000 students coming out from the secondary schools. Yeah, from that 450,000 per batch, the one that get into Polytechnic is about 20,000 students only. So the fight is there. If you want to enter Polytechnic, although it says a pass, if you get a pass, not necessarily you will get into it, because as I mentioned, you go by merit. The better marks you get, the higher your chance is to get into the system. Yeah. So as you can see there, for engineering programs, you only need a pass. For program in IT or accounting, we also need just a pass. For diploma or pre-diploma courses, we also need just a pass. So to enter a Polytechnic system is easy. Why? Because one of our philosophy is actually to make accessibility to education. We must make sure that our nation have a great access to education. So far, our fight is actually to make sure Malaysians enter higher education learning. So that has been our fight so far. So we are struggling for that, because we want to make sure that our people, the citizens of Malaysia, have higher education. So that's why we are actually making easy for them to get access to higher education. And of course, once you enter the Polytechnic system, there are several English courses that you have to take. Now, we abide by the world standard in the sense that if you go for diploma, there are about, if I'm not mistaken, 90 credit hours that they have to fulfill. Out of that 90 credit hours, 6 credits are actually allocated for English for the diploma level. Pre-diploma is a little bit more serious, because pre-diploma means if they go to pre-diploma, they have somehow lacked in certain subjects like mathematics and languages. So we have to brush them up a little bit. So they have 8 credits for pre-diploma, and diploma we only have 6 degree, similar 6 credit as well. So for pre-diploma, we offered subjects like English for English 1 and English 2, which is general English. But for diploma courses, we have some kind of a history there from 1995 to 2010. We use English for specific purposes as our basis. So we have English for technical purposes and English for commerce purposes. And we taught them until the year of 2010. And then there come this revolution that says, why do they need to go for ESP when their English is not that good? So from the year of 2011 to 2021, we changed them to communicative English, English for digital technology, solely for the IT students, as well as maritime English for students who are taking marine. Yeah. And then in 2022, next year, because we do get comments from those ESP champions, if you like, and from 2022, we are reverting back, or we are going back to English for engineering purposes. Communicative English will still be there for the commerce courses, English for digital technology, again for IT, and maritime English for students who are taking marine technology. But for degree, it's totally EAP and ESP. We have started our degree in 2016. Until today, they have things like presentation skills that they have to capture, English for academic purposes, English for design, depending on the course that they are taking. If they're taking things that are related to engineering, for example, a degree in mechanical engineering, then they have to go for English for engineering and technology. If they're doing their tourism courses or creative media, then they go for English for design. If they have tourism, then English for tourism and hospitality. But presentation skills and English for academic purposes are 2 compulsory courses that they have to take, whereas the rest will depend very much on the type of courses that they are doing at the Polytechnic. Yeah. Okay, so that ends my first part, the introduction of or the basic knowledge of how English language is seen in our system, in the education system in Malaysia, and how we then carry into our technical and vocational education and training syllabuses. Okay, now a little bit of literature review. Okay, now, if you look at how English is perceived at the workplace, you have to look at the number of studies that have been done before. I do not redo this study because I thought there's no point of reinventing the wheel. So I'm picking on one here, English at Work, Global Analysis of Language at the Workplace by Cambridge English Language Assessment. But this is rather old because it's done in 2016, yeah? So, but anyway, the study is quite comprehensive because it covers about 38 countries, and it actually ranked the countries according to the use of language, the use of English language in that particular country. For example, we have English-speaking countries. So this research is also done in countries like New Zealand, Canada, US, UK, Ireland, and as well as Australia. And it is also done in countries where English is an official or at least a de facto official language. For example, in Malaysia and Singapore, and Hong Kong, as well as in India. And also the research is also done in countries or territories where English is not an official language. So that includes the rest of the world, basically. Yeah. But I think it includes quite a lot here: Saudi Arabia, Indonesia, Denmark, China, Russia, South Korea, so on and so forth. And it covers a number of an array of industries being surveyed, includes aerospace, defense, law, energy, telecoms, transportation, blah, blah, blah. You can see from my slide. Yeah. So what I'm saying is that the study is rather comprehensive. It covers 38 countries that holds English at different positions. And also it covers a lot of industries. And as you can see there, 69% of the employers from countries that regard English as not an official language. You can see then, you can see in my slide that about only 69% of the employers said that English is significant for the organization. So in countries where English is not an official language, there is certain, still to me, it's still a high percentage of importance being placed for English language. So if you want to get a job in Saudi Arabia, you must know a little bit of English. Nowadays, I think if you go to UAE or if you want to work in Dubai, for example, English apart from Arabic will be a very important subject and probably will be one of the skills that lend you that job, yeah? And if you look at South Korea, for example, I love South Korea because I am a Korean drama, K-drama fan. You know, recently I was like hooked on Hometown Cha-Cha-Cha. So I'm very much a Korean drama fan, and you can see the development of language, English language, especially in K-dramas or even K-pop, yeah. Because you can see the number of or the phrases that are used in K-drama, let's say in year 2000, for example, they're not as many as they are now in K-drama today. So I think even in South Korea, they're trying to portray as if their English has become part and parcel of their life. I mean, you look at BTS. For example, yeah, BTS, they are now household name for music or pop music, yeah, and I love their music because their music goes everywhere. They conquer Europe, they conquer US. Everybody loves BTS nowadays, and they use a lot of English in their songs, yeah. Although it doesn't make sense if you write it, if you look at the lyrics, you will like, oh my God, what does it mean, you know? But it's still. People like them because they can probably relate to the beat or to the melody. I'm not sure, but people love BTS and BTS knows this. That's why they use English lyrics, although it doesn't link together somehow. Indonesia, in this case, plays a very important. The companies in Indonesia, 87%. So I would say that if you want to get a job in companies that in Indonesia, you must know English as well because it will be a bonus to them. For Malaysia or for Malaysia, India, Singapore, and Hong Kong, of course, being putting English as a second language. Therefore, 97% of employers said that English is significant to their organization. But in Malaysia, particularly, most of the employers say 99%. Say that English is extremely important for the organization. So what does it mean? It means that if you want to get a job in Malaysia, you must know English, whether you like it or not. You know, sometimes when I talk to my young students, they said, no, I'm not going to learn English. Why don't you want to learn English? Because bahasa penjajah. It's a very outdated reason, I think. Saya tak mau belajar. I don't want to learn because it's bahasa penjajah. It's a colonized language. Yeah, it's true, but then again, you don't have any choice. In today's world, you have to learn the language because today the world communicates through the English. Yeah, and I would like to quote here what Professor Francesco Profuma from Politico di Torino, Italy says, that English is the real global language and it is important in education, relation, and businesses. And he is the chairman of one of the largest Italian bank foundations, and they're dealing with more than 1,000 countries, and their work language is English. So whether we like it or not, English has conquered the world, and we have to abide by it. Yeah, and of course, when you talk about a job, extra skill, whether they actually get extra money for it or extra remuneration, if you like, for it. Yeah. Again, here, if you look at the chart that I have, I'm sharing with you now, you can see that percentage of employers that offer better packages to applicants with good English skills. So if you go to China and you said that I can speak English well, they will 80% of the companies will offer you better packages. So you get higher salary. If you go to Iraq, it's the same thing. If you go to Saudi Arabia, it's the same thing. Even if you go to India, as I've shown you just now, India place English as a second or an official language. So if you go to India, you must know how to speak English. But if you go to South Korea, whether you know English or you do not know English, it doesn't really matter that much, because only 30% of the organization in or the businesses in Korea offer you better package if you know the language. Yeah, in Malaysia, because it is assumed that everybody knows a little bit of English somehow. They offer only 33% of the companies offer better packages. So I think if people assume that you know the language, therefore the language become part and parcel of you, there's no extra money for you. Basically, I think that's what the chart is telling us. But if you go to a country where English is placed as an important language, but not very many people know about it, then of course you get a better chance of getting higher paid in those countries. Yeah, so that is why I think a number of my students will tend to work in Saudi Arabia or Dubai or UAE, Doha, places like that nowadays, because they seek people, especially in the world of Tibet. So Tibet is they call it, Tibet is running our country at the moment, because we do offer a lot of money there and a lot of chances for our students to go abroad as well. Okay, so this is another research that I would like to share with you by this guy called Muhammad Ali Mosleh Hifar, and as well as Nur Irene Ibrahim. Again, this is an old study, 2012, but here when we talk about oral communication, this is only focusing on oral. Therefore, it says that conversation skills is important as well as oral presentation skills. This makes sense, because when you work in a company, you will see that people want to speak to you, or you get instruction from your bosses in English. You have to read in English, and then sometimes you have to do presentation in English, pitching and stuff like that will have to be done in English. Another study by Sarji Sarudin and the friends from IIUM, International Islamic University, as well as UITM, tell us that they investigate the importance of English competency for employment. And they gathered data from 295 companies from 14 industry sectors, and they found out that the importance of English language competency at the workplace, 96.5% says it's important, 99.7% says that it is important over other languages. So whether you know Bahasa or if you know Mandarin or not, they still think that English is more important than those languages. Certain companies are like that. Employees' preparedness to perform work in English, as I've mentioned, Malaysians learn English from the age of 6 until 17, but are they ready to perform work in English? Only 75.3% respondents stated that the employees were prepared to perform tasks in English. So, but what we have not looked at is actually how serious are the tasks. Maybe if you just talk to a client or respond to a customer, I think they can do that. But if you want them to write a detailed report or detailed assessment, then it will be a bit of a problem. Assessment of English competency in the recruitment, in the sense that if you interview someone, will the question of English language come out? 93% of the respondents mentioned that English competency was assessed in the recruitment, where importance is given on the speaking component, 97%. Some people look at the pronunciation as well, But in Malaysia, as long as when you pronounce, because we have Manglish. Mushlash, have you ever heard of Manglish? Singapore have Singlish, we have Manglish, Malaysian English. So yes, if you talk like, yeah, you have, yeah. If you talk like this, like I talk like now, you can actually survive in the world of Malaysia. So you can work in a company of Malaysia if you speak like me now, because it's called Manglish, Malaysian English. It is acceptable to a certain level. But when you talk about top management, of course, it's not, you can't speak like that when you are dealing with foreign companies or when you are making important decisions at a higher level. So pronunciation, Malaysian English is acceptable at a certain level, but I believe it is not that acceptable if you have to talk to foreign counterparts and stuff like that. As long as you are within your family, it's okay lah. If you want to speak like that with all the la and the ma and the what, all the Mandarin component coming into your speech is okay as long as being understood in the companies. Yeah. Listening skills is also another important skill. 76.9% of the companies feel that it is important skill for their employees to have, as well as writing. Writing, people focus more on the technical writing or report writing. People want to write in English because sometimes writing, they already have in companies, they already have a template that you have to follow. All you have to do is just fill in the blanks, basically. Yeah. So if you are involved in that kind of job, then writing is not such an important thing because you only have to fill in the blanks. But if you have to create from scratch, create a new report, analysis and stuff like that, then English becomes extremely crucial at that point. Yeah. Okay, so that is the second part of my my talk today. Just now, I go on detail on how English is perceived in Malaysia. Then we see what the employer says about English in Malaysia. And now we look at the economic scenario in Malaysia. This is only a few seconds only I will take to explain this because Malaysia is largely affected by the pandemic. I have to say that, you know, before this, our development is at what 4 to 5%, things like that, but now it has gone down. I think last year almost negative, and things like construction in the world of construction almost stopped. So in the world of services, it almost stopped. Tourism is totally out. Businesses, when when we do our movement control order, whereby nobody can go out, no business can run, it total lockdown. Okay, so economy was badly affected, especially our SMEs, small, medium enterprises. They are largely affected. So I think this Friday, we will listen to our budget for next year and we'll see how government is trying to solve this problem. However, since our vaccination has gone up to 94.9% at the moment, which means that 94.9% of adult population in Malaysia has been vaccinated. So I have been vaccinated since the April. Early April, I have completed my vaccination. And I think some of us are still completing our vaccination. But according to our Minister of Health, Khairi Jamaluddin, 94.9% of adult population in Malaysia have had our vaccine. And apart from that, our students as well, those aged from 12 to 17, 80% of them has been vaccinated. So now we are opening our schools. We are going back to almost and not totally 100%, almost back to normal at the moment. Yeah. So we are, when we do this, we manage to entice a lot of investment into Malaysia. This is a report by MIDA. MIDA is an agency that is responsible of attracting investment into Malaysia. So as you can see from the chart, there are a lot of foreign investment, especially in basic metal products, in paper printing and publishing, in chemicals and chemical products, E&E. Malaysia is quite good in E&E, electric and electronics, manufacturing as well, medical, rubber products, 5 top domestic investment, rubber, petroleum, food manufacturing, of course, transport equipment, as well as M&E. So we do have a lot of investment coming in. Before this, I was the director of one of the polytechnics in northern of Malaysia, in Kedah. And in Kedah, we have this what we call Kulim High Tech Park. So in Kulim High Tech Park, there are a lot of international companies coming in. And my last negotiation was with Ryzen Solar, a company, international company coming in, as well as with ATNS from Sweden also coming in. So when they come in, they need a lot of people to work, especially in the world of TVET, technical and vocational people, students, graduates, and they need people who can actually speak in English, of course, because these are international companies, yeah, international companies. So they need people to be able to speak in English. So So if we produce graduates that cannot speak in English, cannot understand instruction, cannot give instructions, cannot write reports, cannot communicate with their superiors, then we will be in trouble. Yeah, so we will come back to us. So this slide shows that we do have investment coming into Malaysia and the number is growing. I'm glad to say that the number is growing. We continuously have to communicate with MIDA, because MIDA will be asking us, do you have enough people? Does Polytechnic produce enough people before we say yes to this company to come in? So we are responsible for that. So this is the last part of my presentation, employment among Malaysian Polytechnic graduates. Just now I mentioned that in my division, we look at polytechnics as well as community colleges. But what I'm presenting now is only for the Polytechnic graduates. Yeah. So if you look at graduates employability trend for polytechnics and community colleges Malaysia since 2006, you can see there is a steady growth, if you like. The peak is of course in 2016, 2015, 97.4% for community colleges, as well as 96.7% for the year of 2019 for the Polytechnic. But of course, 2020, because of the pandemic, because we started to close down, I think somewhere in March 2020, the number has gone down slightly, but not too much, only slightly. So our students, can they get a job? Yes, they can get the job. Yeah. So look at, oh dear. I don't know what happened here. There is something is wrong here. Okay, but never mind. But what I'm saying is that for graduates employability for the year of 2016 to 2020, we are at the forefront. Okay, I'm sorry, there's something wrong with my slide here. But we are at the forefront. We produce students who are employable until as compared to other counterparts. Because I mentioned earlier, there are 11 or 10 other ministries that offer TVET courses, but we are still at the top, if you like. Okay, for employment sectors, I can't translate. I did not have time to translate this slide yet. But for employment sectors, basically, most of our students will go into multinational companies. But if you look at this bar chart, you will see that most of our students are actually employed in local companies. Local companies, yeah. So what does it tell you? It tells you that they are employed in local companies. Even local companies requires a certain amount of English by their employees. So that's what I'm saying there. Do they have what we call multinational? Yeah, you do have this turquoise thingy. Okay, we do have multinational companies. Our students also work in multinational companies, Petronas being one of them. Like I mentioned just now, AT&S is another one. Ryzen Solar, First Solar, those companies are international companies. Johnson & Johnson, most of our students actually in Johnson & Johnson. But because manufacturing is one of the key areas of Malaysia, so you will see that most of our technical students will go into manufacturing. Okay. So this is having gone through that, I want to see whether is it true that my students can actually perform at the workplace? So I gather a number of my students, my alumni, because I served a few polytechnics before I landed myself here in the HQ. So I use my connections and I use my students to answer these questions. Very, very simple questions. Okay, this is not PhD level. This is only, I think, a diploma survey level. Yeah, very simple questions I ask my students. I managed to survey all 36 polytechnics, and most of them answered them. So they are representatives. So we have Polytechnic Unku Omar being the eldest, being born in 1969, if you like. And we have the youngest, which is Polytechnic Bagan Datuk, specializes in marine technology, maritime technology. And most of them answer the questions. And the second part is actually, I want to see whether English is used at the workplace, whether speaking is used, writing is used, or reading is used, or listening is used, and what are the future actions. So bear with me. As you can see here, when I ask them how long have they been working, because these are my students, so they are rather young, rather new to the employment. So you can see majority of them have been working only below 5 years, and less than 1 year, I have 40.6%, and more than 5 years, I have the rest of the percentage. Yeah, and who are they working with? Are they working, because just now, as you can see from our research, from my slide before this, most of our students actually work in local companies. Yeah, so is it true? It is true that 62.9% from my research students that respond to my questionnaire says that they are working with a local company. Only 24.3% work with a company, multinational company, which is higher than the slide that I show you just now, because this slide shows that 14.1%, 14.2%, 13.9% work with multinational. But when I talk to my students, 24.3% of them actually work with multinational companies. What does it say? It says that my students actually work with, I have more students working with multinational companies as the national research says. Yeah. And but we do have students that work in a family-owned company, because sometimes they enter Polytechnic because they have to take over the family business. So we do have a certain percentage of them working in a family-owned company. And we also have students who are self-employed, because one of our mission is actually to Polytechnic and community colleges mission is actually to create students who are job creators or who are self-employed. So it's also one of our objectives. Okay, now if they use English at the workplace, how often do they use English? And as you can see, they say sometimes, 74.3% says sometimes they use English because they have other languages that they can use. And only a very small percentage says that they never use the language. From Likert scale 1 from totally disagree and 5 to totally agree. I use English in everyday conversation with my colleagues, with your friends. Do you actually use English? As you can see, only a certain number of them use English 100% with their colleagues, whereas majority of them in a borderline. Yeah. And do you use English when communicating verbally with your superiors? As you can see from the Likert scale. Where's my cursor? From the Likert scale, you can see that a majority of them will use English with their superiors at level 4 or Scala Likert scale 4 or 5. Yeah. So it means that most of them will use, when they communicate verbally with their superiors, they will actually use the language. Writing emails or report in English, yes, most of them use a lot of English when they are writing reports or emails. Reading, yes, as well. Reading emails, of course. This actually surprises me because I thought that they will use English solely when they are speaking. But when this come back to me, I was thinking, oh my God, they actually read a lot of emails in English, which means emails are written in English. Yeah. And do they have to give instruction in English? Only at Likert scale 4, majority of them. Yeah, so meaning that sometimes when you talk about giving instructions, probably they combine 2 languages when they're doing this. But as I've mentioned, what surprises me is that they have to read reports in English. So reports are actually written in English, therefore they have to read it in English. Similarly with emails. And the last section of my simple research asked them whether they feel that after going through from primary school, secondary schools, as well as when they are actually in our colleges, do they acquired the right level of competency? Most of them mentioned that they have. It's enough for them to perform their jobs. Yeah, and ask them if whether they will take any more communication courses in English. As you can see, they still, probably we will take them, because I think a certain level of English is required if you want to move further up the ladder, if you like, in your career. So you have to have that as well. If it is okay for you to communicate using Malaysian English when you are with your colleagues in your surrounding workplace, but if you want to move, you want to become the CEO or the COO or whatever it is, you have to have a certain level of fine English, if you like. So as a conclusion to my presentation, industries mentioned that they use English at the workplace. Yes, Polytechnic graduates acknowledge the use of English at the workplace, as you can see from the study. Polytechnic graduates feel that they have had the right competency level to function at the workplace. So, yay, hooray to all the English teachers who have been teaching them, because now this is evidence that whatever they have taught them from standard 1 or from primary 1 until secondary school, until the tertiary level, it is beneficial to them. They're actually using it at the workplace, especially the writing and the reading skills, which tend to be ignored, if you like, during their study times. And the learning of English language since preschool till diploma level seems to be sufficient. Polytechnic graduates are willing to take extra courses, as I mentioned, perhaps to improve in their career. And TVET or Polytechnic graduates could get a job even during these challenging times because they have the necessary hard skill as well as the soft skill. So Mukhlash, ladies and gentlemen, I think that's all I have to share with you for today. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you very much for the lively presentation that you have already presented. And then I got a lot of information and then a lot of insight about it, and also as well as it's entertaining because there was some jokes in your presentation. I loved it so much. And then from your presentation we got lots of insight, what the VET stand for, and then what we call it, the status of English in Malaysia, and also some other informations. Well, I would like to open the question and answer session. Please, for the what we call it, for the participants, please type your question if you want to ask this Yusma about what she has already presented. But before that, I have several questions actually in mind. The first question, I'm interested in MOAC. I mean, is it a standardized test? Because you mentioned MOAC band score is between 1 to 6. The lowest is 1, and then the highest is 6, and then the graduates should take it before they graduate from the university. Let's say, is it a standardized test in Malaysia? And then does it look like an IELTS test? Because in IELTS test also it has the band score. And then the second question about I don't know, maybe the majority of polytechnics graduates worked in local company. You mentioned in your presentation. I'm thinking when the local company requires lower English requirements compared to other companies. I'm just curious about it. Thank you very much, Ibu. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Mukhlash, for the questions. Regarding MOAC, it is a standardized test. So whether you are graduating from UKM, University Kebangsaan, or you're graduating from International Islamic University of Malaysia, or if you're graduating from University Technology Malaysia, regardless where you are, the test is the same. The test is the same. So if you say, let's say there are 3 times, if I'm not mistaken, there are 3 sittings. So you can choose whether you want to take it at the beginning of the year, middle of the year, or the end of the year. I think it's like January or March, if I'm not mistaken, and somewhere in July and September. That used to be the schedule before the pandemic. During the pandemic, they changed it so many times. I lost touch with that. But yeah, it is a standardized test, and we have one council to actually look into the test. And you have four skills as well being assessed: your speaking skills, your writing, your listening, and your reading. And for the local companies, I believe so. They require actually a lower level of English as compared to if you are working with multinational companies. That's why I say if you use certain types of Malaysian English, you probably will be able to survive in the local companies.
thank you for the explanation. And then, is there any question from the respondents or the participants? Until now, I haven't seen any question yet in the question and answer chat box. Maybe yeah. While waiting for the respondents or for the participants to ask the question, can you tell, because you mentioned in your presentation about Manglish, Malaysian English, and then Singlish, Singaporean English, and then there is also Chinglish, if I'm not mistaken, China English, yeah. And then what do you think the features of Manglish?
Okay, I can't comment on Singlish because I'm not staying in Singapore, but I think Singlish has a certain feature to it which is slightly different from Malaysian English. But for Malaysian English, basically there's an influence of you know, the rhythm. English has a rhythm, right? So if you are somehow taking the English language and you put it in a Chinese rhythm, if you like, or a Malay plus Chinese rhythm, with certain vocabularies, for example, certain features, not vocabularies, but certain features like la, meh. Meh is a popular end word, or I wouldn't say even a suffix actually, an end word that is used in Hokkien. So you want to go meh? I don't want to go meh. But if you're talking to a Malay, probably that meh is going to be replaced with lah. I don't know lah, what to eat that kind of thing. So the rhythm of the language has changed from the English language rhythm to a very choppy, if you like, choppy and very short sentences. Like somebody, one of the YouTubers said, you know, in English language, you probably say, excuse me, may I know the time? But in Malaysian English, you'll be, what time? You got time? Only 3 words. You got time? So that is a Malaysian English. But the word you is English. Time is also an English word. The only non-English word is the suffix at the end, thingy, you know. So you got time. So that's how Malaysian English works. But it works. Communication happens. You understand what the other person is saying.
Okay, thank you very much for the answers. We have 2 questions already here. The first question is, what are the difficulties found in teaching English to students that will be working in different fields? Maybe you can answer this question first.
Okay, basically because we do have a syllabus that we have to follow, and some of our lecturers are actually a graduate of, they have masters in specific purposes, for example. So they already know the field very well, and they have been teaching for a number of years. So for example, if you, but we tend to generalize it. If it is an engineering course, we understand that there's certain jargon that they have to understand. You know, we know that, we acknowledge that, therefore we teach that. Reports, for instance. So there's certain types of technical report is different from, let's say, a lab report. So those are different things. It is not that difficult once you get used to it. And besides, all our colleagues, if you work in a polytechnic or community college, all our colleagues are basically technical people. So somehow you will be roped in. And I on that point, I like to earlier when Ibu Delita was talking about whether you can actually cross field, cross discipline or not. Interesting to say that in Polytechnic Malaysia, we do have that cross field, but it's done informally. It is not, you know, you take it as a credit hour, no. It is done informally. For example, if I am an English language student, I might want to do an extra course because we do have what we call it's kind of alternative course. You add on, for example, you add on. So I want to add on welding for 2 credits. I can actually do that.
Thank you very much for the answer. And then we have another question addressed by DK Shadul Fikri, a student of Jambi, Universitas Jambi. he asked about which one is more useful to be mastered, receptive skill or productive skill. Of course, in the field of work, yeah, in the work field, and then that's the question from Diki.
I would say it's dangerous of me to pick one. Yeah, but it's dangerous of me to pick one because you cannot have one without the other. But it depends on, as I mentioned, it depends on which level of career you are at. Because the higher the level is, then probably you do have to write a lot. You know, I'm sure as a docent, as a lecturer, you have to write academic papers, right? Whereas as a student, you only have to write maybe not as serious paper. So yeah, I think both skills are equally important.
Both skills, yeah, because they are all interrelated, right?
Exactly.
Okay, we have another question from Lukman Tanjung. He asked about how does Malaysian government see the real Bahasa Melayu, which is very influenced by English, with English.
Language is dynamic. I'm sure you learn about how language has to be dynamic, because if language is not dynamic, it will die. Like Latin, you know. So I think it is okay to infuse certain words into bahasa interchangeably, because you know, I think one of the session that I have been involved with mentioned that for English language alone, 25% of its vocabulary comes from the French. So similarly with Bahasa Melayu, there are bound to be a number of English words or even Arabic words in the language. So it's okay. It makes the language evolves, and it makes it alive. It responds to time.
Yeah.
Of course, but then again, of course, those who champion Bahasa Melayu will be very angry with me.
I do agree that language is very dynamic. It changes from time to time. Now we have another question from Nelly Arif, Ibu Nelly Arif, and then she asked about how does Malaysia have different names of curriculum and higher level education for the university and the school level, primary and secondary school? I mean, do they have different curriculums? The higher education, also the schools, like in Indonesia, we have different types of curriculum.
Okay, in terms of names, if you talk about curriculum, the name is still the same. It's still curricula or curriculum Bahasa Melayu for sekolah rendah, or curriculum Bahasa Melayu for sekolah menengah. But for higher learning, of course, it is based on the institution itself. I cannot speak for universities, but I'm sure universities have their own. But anyway, we do have, when we talk about curriculum, we have a certain format that we have to abide by. In designing a curriculum for a course, certain percentage has to be given to what we call subject university or subject trust universities, which is compulsory for that particular universities. And we also have a general subjects which has to be included, like I think in your case it will be Pancasila if I'm not mistaken, but in our case we have Pengajian Malaysia being one, or Malaysian studies will have to be one of the subjects that they have to take at whatever level that you are. So those are the components that is compulsory, and the rest will have to be subject matter subject matters courses. So there are three components. One which is compulsory to the university, another one compulsory to the country, and the rest are subject matters. But we still call them curriculum.
Okay, so basically it depends. It depends the subject matters. Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
I think, do we still have more questions? I don't think we have more questions. Do we still have time? Okay. So because there is no more question, I think this is the end of the plenary session, the second plenary session. I am as a moderator, would like to say thank you for Ms. Yusma Binti Yusuf for the lively presentation, and then I just love the way you presented the material.
Thank you.
Thank you for the audience to listen and ask the question related to the material that the presenter has already explained. Lastly, I would like to say I'm sorry if I made mistake as a moderator, because I'm a human being. Thank you very much and have a great day. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Mukhlas. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Okay, thank you for Mrs. Yusma Yusuf MA and also Dr. Muklas Abrar. Before we move to our third speaker, we would like to show you our documentary video of Eduticon 2019.
I made up my mind with a crazy call. Promise me you'll catch me when I'm weightless. Hold me close before the crazy come. Until you're done with running, I'll be patient. 'Cause I know you'll be there. And I never had a plan for this. Everything is what it is. You never hold me back in anything. You didn't even have to try. I made up my mind, and I know you'll be there. With just one touch, you take me there. Without your love, we go nowhere. With just one touch, you're always there to remind me. You take me there. When waters love, you will still be there. Your love, you're always there right beside me. We go nowhere. With just one touch, with just one touch. When the tide's all out and you're neglected, it's okay if your river's running dry. Flips 180 when you least expect it. So just don't you cry. And I never had a plan for this. Everything is what it is. You never hold me back in anything. You didn't even have to try. I made up my mind, and I know you'll be there. With just one touch, you take me there. Without your love, we go nowhere. With just one touch, you're always there to remind me. You take me there. When waters love, you will still be there. Your love, you're always there right beside me. We go nowhere. With just one touch, with just one touch. Hold me tight, I'll never let you leave. Let me go, I'll live in disbelief. You say the truth every time you speak. Without a doubt, got everything I need. Yeah. Hold me tight, I'll never let you leave. Let me go, I'll live in disbelief. You say the truth, oh, every time you speak. See, no doubt, got everything I need. You're always
Okay. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, the audience of Eduticon 2021. First of all, allow me to introduce myself. My name is Dedi Kurniawan, one of the teaching staff at English Education Study Program Universitas Jambi. And I'm very honored this morning to be appointed as the moderator for our keynote speaker for this session. Yeah. So in the beginning, let me introduce a little bit our third keynote speaker, Ibu Imro'atus Soleha, who has already joined us in this virtual meeting. Okay. So welcome, Ibu Iim.
Thank you, Pak Dedi.
Yeah. So her name is Ibu Imro'atus Soleha and Dr. Imro'atus Soleha MPD, but we usually call her Ibu Iim. Yeah, and Ibu Iim is one of the vice president of English Language Education Study Program Association or Asosiasi Prodi Pendidikan Bahasa Inggris Indonesia. So let me briefly read her CV. Yeah. So she earned her doctoral degree from Universitas 11 Maret Surakarta UNS, and she is a teaching staff at IAIN Surakarta, Bu Im, ya, and also the vice dean at the current time, and she is also the one of the vice president of Indonesian or English Language Education Study Program Association, and because of that position, I believe that Ibu Iim is a very suitable person to talk about how the curriculum of English Language Education Study Program developed. Yeah. So I think that's a brief introduction of Ibu Iim. Without further ado, I think I would like to invite Ibu Iim to start the presentation. I'm yours, Ibu Iim.
Thank you, Pak Dedi. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. The Excellency Prof. Sutresno, Director of Jambi University, Prof. Rusdi, the Dean of FKIP, University of Jambi, and then all the audience. Thank you for the opportunity. And I would like to say thank you for all. I'm very happy to be here with you. For today, I would like to talk about, wait a minute, let me share my PowerPoint first. Yeah. Can you see my slide? Yeah, for today, I would like to talk about the reference. I think KKNI obey to bridge MBKM in English language curriculums. Okay, we can see that in our country, so many associations, but in our SPB is quite different with another association, I think, because in our SPB it is part of the association that focus on managing the Prodi PBI Pendidikan Bahasa Inggris in Indonesia. That's the distinction with another association. And for this occasion, I would like to talk about the development curriculum in Indonesia, and especially for the KKNI OB. Okay, KKNI, it is the implementation of international qualification framework in applied context thanks to the emphasizes administration and curriculum document. Okay, then in KKNI also is competency qualification grading framework that can just post, equalize, integrate with the field of education and job training and work experience in order to provide recognitions of our competence according to the structure of work in various sectors. We can see in Permendikbud number 49 of 2040, and also SPEDI and Solika. And also, if we talk about the KKN, also we can see it is for the higher education curriculum models in Indonesia, and 3 dimensions. The process of development of the curriculums, cost distribution of the serve of quality assurance, and the development of course of Merdeka Belajar. It is the main point containing in the curriculum qualification of framework or KKNI. Yeah? And then KKNI obey MBKM. We can see the curriculum development with reference to learning outcomes determined by compiling learning outcomes, study of the materials and teaching materials and matrices. Okay, this pattern is called with the bedwork design if it related to the theory of curriculums based on the Richard's theory. Okay, and we have to consider that there are several steps of industry that we starting from industry 1.0, industry 2.0, industry 3.0, industry 4.0, and industry 5.0. It is related to our educations in the industry 1.0 or industrializations. It is focused on exploration knowledge, basic knowledge, and basic knowledge. And then in industry 2002 and 2.0, or we can call as electrifications, it is maintaining or has a result about the technology. And we come to the next step, we call as industry 3.0. It is related to digitalizations. And then in the related to the educations, we can see that produce some knowledge knowledge. Then in industry 4.0, like now, is this talking about the smart utilizations, that in education we can produce the innovations, and also in the industry 5.0 in society, we can see the we can see the connecting between the visuals and the physicals that connecting with prospect in looking for a job, and that it is relevant with curriculums MBKM. And then the next normal era, we can see the revolution industry. We can see the digitalization, crowd connectivism, and then in internalizations, we can see the competency globals, and then qualification, and then global communities, and then quality of the education. Also, we see the basic education quality, reskilling and upskillings, and now we still face the pandemic COVID-19. We have to conducting online learnings. It means that we have to see the emergency response, that less context, and it means that we have to everything's e-learning. Yeah, and now it is common. We used to blended learning, flexible, high technology, high quality, multi-resources, hybrid knowledge, hybrid skill, and edutech institutions. Okay, we come to the misperception about KKNI. Okay. There are, I found 5 misperceptions about the KKNI. The first is international qualification framework as a new curriculum model that's referred to outcome-based educations, or we can common call as OB, but its implication is not appropriate with the OB concept. And then the second misperception about KKNI is in the international qualification framework was developed following the model from backward design curriculum suggested by Richard, and lots of route because of the international qualification frameworks developed by adapting the curriculum development which not established yet. And then the third, the misperception about KKNI, another misperception here is KKNI as a curriculum model is more important in formulating achievement, which is called learning outcomes, so that the dimension of the curriculum do not handle properly. And the fourth is the realm of KKNI policy as a curriculum. It has been included the policy public, which the define whatever the government doesn't do, which is tie this policy analysis, namely multi-dimensional research process that they make the critical judgment and communicate with policy relevant knowledge. But more implementation refer to the political policy. That's misperceptions about KKNI. Now we come to the KKNI OB. What is it? Okay, KKNI 2020 refer to the root of curriculum based on the outcome-based educations. Okay, especially defined in the Pedoman Penyusunan Kurikulum Perguruan Tinggi 2020. More specifically, guide how OB is operationalized. We can say CPL and learning outcomes as a basis of the document, and CPL and learning outcome to see the implementation, and CPL and learning outcome also for the assessment and the curriculum evaluation. And in our SPB already designed the CPL on learning outcomes for undergraduate degree, graduate degree, and postgraduate degree. And I do believe the member of our SPB already have it. And then the flexible of the OB, KKNI OB here is are defining learning outcome as the first step. And then the second one is defining contents and the depth of the teaching material of the whole 144 courses. And then the identifying learning outcome of a cluster of courses. And then you can see the national course containing Islamic academic literacy. And then also a basic skill of English, language content, teaching, curriculum, and research. Now we have to classify how the way to design the curriculum related to the 7 point here. National course containing Islamic academic literacy. There are some of subject like PPKN, and then Pancasila, Keluarga Pancasila, ya, and then Bahasa Indonesia, and then religions, including in English, even it is as international language. And then basic skill of English that we can see in the several steps, several of graders of the skill, starting from the first semester up to 3 or 4 semester, because of some of the institutions are different, construct the language skill into the semester, proposed to the semester. And the language content, we can see the phonology, starting from phonology, morphology, syntax, semantic, and so on. That belongs to language contents. And also the component of teaching should be fulfilled in our curriculums, of course, because we are focused on the educations and language teaching. Then in teaching, there are several components of like TOEFLs, yeah, and then instruction design and many others. And for curriculum also, it is needed focus, needed more time to focus about the curriculum itself. How do we, and also sometimes we can use the curriculum development in compiling with major developments. Okay, Then component of research also needed to pay attention about this, because I see the several draft of the curriculums not giving a little portions about the research. So it is that's why the result of our students is not really good, how the way they are conducting a final project as a thesis, because a limited of the to learn about research, component of research, such as how to classify between approaches of the research, in iteration of research, and then statistic, okay, then analysis data. It also belongs to the research component. Okay, then strategies. Okay, in our document of curriculum, at least consisting of 144 credits, then we have to break down into 7 semesters. Why 7 semesters? Because actually about the 8th semester is the student just finish their writing to report the time out topic that call as thesis. So actually we can arrange our curriculum into in 144 credit into 7 semester only. And basic English skill, like I said before, we can see that such kind of vocabulary that provided to several levels, and the grammar, listening, speaking, reading, writings. And then must be the range of 40 and 70% as the quality assurance of the ProD. The problem is sometimes the curriculums from subject from institution and faculty needed to take more mata kuliah. So makul in the subject is very limited, no guarantee the quality assurance of the ProD. So it is such kind of the attention that we have to obey, that if we want to our students get a good skills, we have to give a arrange the proportions about 40 and 70%. And there is an academic literacy also important things that in the modernized of the context of global trends of ELT and research in context of digital era. And sometimes the students only putting the the thema, the old theme, that to not find out the novelty. So there's novelty. So it is better for us to give a guiding to the students to have academic literacy as good as possible. And then ICT contents related to this curriculum also. TEFL is a digital basis. We can see because of the industry 4.0, it is focused on digital literacy. We have to try to make a TEFL subject in digital basis. And the curriculum, syllabus, teaching material are adapted to digital model also. And then a researcher method in ELT and then change perspective of scriptsy or thesis emphasizes. For instance, it is the new design of research, like a virtual ethnography. Okay, maybe it is one of variation of the research in ICT based. And then teaching management using digital basis is more elaborated. So some of the institution already PTM tatap muka, and many institutions still doing the online learning. So sometimes also we can use a hybrid or blended learning. So but in the ICT content, it is still needed. Even some of the institutions already have luring or offline classes. Now, how to design and of 144 credit into 7 semester? We can split 60 credit for MBKM, and then select 44 credit for the regular courses, and then select equal and similar courses equivalent for those content in terms of apprenticeship, teaching assistant, thesis, supervision, product. For instance, how the way the student be able to create the article, and then they report the product. And then SOP to define the quality assurance. It is a very crucial for us to design the SOP to make it as guidelines, the MBKM running. And then minimum skill requires. Then possible project that we can implement in MBKM. The first is face-to-face basis. The self-learning online is still needed because of a pandemic is not finished yet. And then seminar, social media group, and the exchange program through Zoom. And I'm very glad that Jambi is already have many exchange program. Yeah. And then basic English knowledge, we can see the vocabulary, grammar, pronunciation. Also, we can give as a project, possible project. And then English skill, listening, speaking, reading, also in writing. Okay, and then in teaching and curriculums, in ICT we can design the webinar based on teachings, and then also the subject of curriculum, assessment and evaluations in online learning by designing looks like webinars. Yeah, and then research on online teachings also, and then academic writings, journal writing publication. It is very important things the students be able to not only be able to create the thesis, but also they have to learn how they to design the article, journals, and then publish, how they publish. Okay, then in every institution in PreDi, yeah, related the 9 criterion, we have to have what is it, journal that arranged by PreDi. So it is important for us to direct the students to make a good writing. Then they publish in several journals. And then we get the campus live programs. Okay, 1 semester basis length. We can have many choices here. 1 semester, for instance, 1 semester basis leave, okay, teaching assistants, for instance, and then student exchange, and then humanity programs. Okay, 3 points here. Actually, we can implement in MBKM by leaving our program, our institution, our department to go abroad. Yeah, on 1 semester basis leave. And then the students are allowed to complete scripts or thesis and its course component in around 50 or 20 credits. How to arrange these ones? The first is we can see the thesis is containing 6 credits, and then research method about 6 credits, and then data analysis about 2 credits, thesis writing 3 credits, and article publication and 3 credits. Okay, it is will be able to use in designing the curriculums. And then the problem remain unsolved. It is my conclusion that in item by item equivalent need to through route plan, then 60 credit for freedom learning course need agreement among the university across the Indonesia. That is a big problem because it looks like run by ourselves. Then in ABSPBE as a home, actually as a home for members to make such kind of MOU or MOA to solve the problem. And then SOP also needed the supervision of the live course and MBKM needed a standard, yeah. And then account of kuliah tunggal, single rate payment basis, not yet proper also. Okay, that's my last presentation, my last slide. Thank you, Pak Dedi.
Yeah, thank you, Bu Im. So it was a very comprehensive explanation about the curriculum in Indonesia, particularly for English education study program. Yeah, and I think Ibu Imratu Soleha is the suitable person to talk about this because I remember that she was one of the conceptor of the learning outcomes of English education English study program in Indonesia, right? Okay, so in this webinar, if you have questions, yeah, I would like you to type it directly in Q&A, yeah, and so that we can answer these questions, yeah. Okay, please use the Q&A. Meanwhile, Ibu Iim, so
Yeah.
I have one question, yeah, kind of personal.
Okay.
Regarding MBKM, right? So one of the problem about MBKM is that the ministry has already stated that the students have freedom to take the 60 credit hours outside of the campus, right? So logically, if you don't want to add the burden of the students, so we have to some kind of give up some courses in our curriculum, right? Meaning that these courses can be taken in other departments, in other disciplines, or even by doing other kinds of activities. So the question is, how do we choose? Yeah, how do we choose of the 84, 86 something credit hours to be the to be the core of English education study program in Indonesia? Is there any discussion in the association about determining which courses should be considered as the essential or as the core of the curriculum that all students in Indonesia have to take? Yeah, and how about the 60 credit hours? Yeah, how can we choose among these courses? Because I believe that the lecturers will kind of argue that their courses or a certain subject is very important, things like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we have to choose. So is there any guidelines on how to choose which course are to be considered as essential, which ones are to be considered non-essential, so that we can substitute it with other MBKM activities or other courses from other departments? Okay, that's my question.
Okay, thank you, Pak Dedi. In where I said that is strategy, it is a part of strategy how the way to 140 credit be divided in several semester. In the 8th semester on we focus on the thesis, writing a thesis. Okay. The first is we have to focus on this point that in the program in PRODI PBE should be must be in the range of 40 and 70% as quality assurance in the component of the teaching and the curriculums, and then language and also skills. And we have to finish it in 5 semesters. In the 5 semester, we have to finish out. And for the 6, 7, maybe a 5, 5, 6, 7, we can go abroad in by taking the MBKM in outside of our department. And then, like I said, the APCB is bridging to implement MBKM because the member can make a MOU, such kind of MOU, MOA among the members, right? Like this one. Then it is also actually there's still a problem. And then we as a association try to try to solve the problem by make such kind of the bridging here. And then how to design 144 into a 7 semester or 8 semester. Like I said, that we have to pay attention about the component of the important things like this one. Wait a few minutes. Okay. National courses and basic skill, language content, teaching, curriculum, and research must be in the given to the students in first up to 4 or 5 semesters. So and for the 5 semester or 6 semester or maybe 7 semester, we can implement the MBKM. So after they finishing the major of the prodi, they do not any problems to finish this makul in prodi. Then okay. It could be we can arrange into several ways. For instance, in online learnings, still they can join the MBKM in outside of our programs, but they have to join in the class by doing such kind of the project. Okay, that we have to connecting our makul to another's, even it is a quite different subject. Yeah. And also we still have a problem actually when we have to do not arrange as well in our institutions due to the name of makul and also credit in the KRS in respect degree also. So we have to make arrange as good as possible to avoid such kind of problem like the KRS do not appear in KRS in transcript because of the such kind of the preparations. Okay, needed for avoiding such kind of the problems others. And then yeah, we have to arrange 1 up to 5 semester for our subject. And another for the next step for next semester, we can use MBKM. We can choose another fields outside of our concern. Thank you, Pak Dedi.
Thank you, Bu Im. Yeah. So drawing the line between your presentation, Ibu Dedita's presentation, I believe that we still have a lot of homework, that we have to deal with regards to the implementation of MBKM, while also at the same time preserving the needs of the curriculum and the existence of English education study program. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So once again, I would like to invite the attendee, the participants to ask questions. You can directly type it in Q&A if you have any questions, so that we can discuss. We can answer the questions. Okay. We'll be waiting for your questions.
Okay, actually, let me give a little bit about the KKNI. Here is actually KKNI is how the one's qualification gain recognition in the world of works, right? And then in OB, I think it is more flexible, because in OB containing 3 areas. The first is developing the curriculums. That's our point, that we have to arrange the component of curriculums, how to put the appropriate semesters, into the appropriate semester. And then the second is sections to achieve the program, to seeing the achievement of the program, whether it is successful or not. And then the last is evaluation the program that's implemented. It is the main point of the KKNI OB versions.
Okay, we are still waiting for questions. Any questions? Okay, please, if you have any questions, we still have about 5 minutes before the end of this session.
Okay, I would like to give a graded profile of learning outcome. My PSBB, Pak. Okay, you can share in chat room. Maybe it is needed for the members of the PSBB. And we invite you to join our associations by just now I already sent credit profile of and learning outcomes of APSBBI, and also website pendaftaran atau membership of APSBBI.
So this is the most current version, Bu Im, ya?
Yeah, the current
of
version.
The grade profile that also accommodates bridging the curriculum to international accreditation, right?
Yeah.
Because in international accreditation standard, we are only required to have a couple of learning outcomes, while the government require us to do to put a lot of things in the learning outcomes, right?
Exactly.
Yes. Okay. Okay. So I think we are almost reaching the end of this session. Yeah, and I think maybe some of the participants still would like to ask question. Just maybe they need some time to think about this. Yeah. Okay, so I think I would like to invite Ibu Im to give kind of closing remarks, maybe if you want to conclude this before we end this session.
Yeah, thank you, Pak Dedi. I just want to say about the KKNI in object fraction. This is very very good that it is connected to MBKM. And how the way to arrange the curriculum itself is by preaching the look up the curriculum for institution and then faculty and project itself. And sometimes makul from institution and faculty take it more portion. So it is important for us to realize that we have to need to select the appropriate makul that are relevant with our students. And we have to see the need of analysis by looking for the market signals and also the fusion of knowledge itself. Yeah, thank you, Pak Didi.
Yeah, thank you, Bu Im. So I think this is the end of our session. Yeah, and once again, would like to thank Ibu Im. And maybe the participants cannot really see each other because we are using Zoom webinar, but we have almost 200 participants in a while, right? So once again, thank you, Ibu Im, for Dr. Imratus Soleha for the speech. Yeah, it was very useful for us to understand the curriculum in Indonesia, the policy as well as the implementation in the study program. Thank you, and I would like to return this to the MC. Yeah. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Bu Im.
You're welcome, Pak Dedi.
Yeah.
Thank you for Dr. Imratus Soleha and also Mr. Dedi Kurniawan SSMA. Now we move to our fourth speaker. Is Mr. Ahmad Shofian, PhD, and the moderator is Dr. Yanto. Floor is yours.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Are we waiting for the moderator, I think?
Tes. Ya. Oke, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Can anybody hear me? Oke, alhamdulillah rabbil alamin. Nice to meet you all. Oh. Okay, tes. SPD. Okay. Okay. I need to move to the other laptop. Di sini sebelah jari. Ya, nggak usah.
Oh, buru nggak ada di sini. Ternyata.
Pak Yanto tolong dikeluarin. Okay. Okay, everyone, let me repeat. Today we are going to have our next speaker from Saudi Arabia. I want to talk in Arabic actually, but I'm afraid nobody will understand here. So sorry about that. Kaifa haluk Dr. Ahmad Sofyan. Long time no
Baik,
see.
baik Pak. Baik, terima kasih Pak. Thanks.
Okay, sorry about that. Okay, I would like to read the curriculum vitae of Ahmad Sofyan, SPD, Master of Social Science, PhD. Mr. Ahmad Sofyan was born in Jambi, 15 of May 1980. So currently he is 21 years old, very young. And his education background, he graduated from Madrasah Aliyah Negeri Man Olak Kemang, Jambi. And then in 1998 until 2003, he was studying at English study program, FKIP, Universitas Jambi, awarded by the ADB Scholarship and Habibie Center. 2006 until 2007, he was studying master degree, strategic and diplomacy studies, Faculty of Social Sciences and Humanities, National University of Malaysia, awarded by the Colombo Master Plan 2006. 2013 until 2018, he continued his study PhD, Strategic and Security Studies, School of Political Studies, Faculty of Art and Social Sciences, Waikato University, New Zealand, awarded by the New Zealand ASEAN Scholar Award 2013. Currently, he is diplomat, ASN Kementerian Luar Negeri RI, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Indonesia, Home Mission Experiences 2005, recruitment of CPNS Kementerian Luar Negeri 2005-2006, staff, the Directorate of South American and Caribbean Affairs. And then 2007 until 2009, head of section for Saudi Arabian Affairs, the Directorate of Middle East Affairs, the Directorate General of the Asia Pacific and African Affairs. And then this is interesting. In 2006, he became a diplomat at the Embassy of the Republic of Indonesia in Santiago, Chile. For those who don't know Chile, you just go to Cumpe and turn left and you will arrive in Chile. 2009 until 2013, diplomat at the Embassy of Republic of Indonesia in Beirut, Lebanon. and then 2018 until now, a diplomat at the Consulate General of the Republic of Indonesia in Jeddah, Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, Economic, Consular, and Media Affairs. This is his personal info, phone number. I don't think I should mention phone number, and shoe number as well. No, not necessary. Without further ado, I give you Mr. Ahmad Sofyan, PhD. Time is yours.
Thank you, Pak Yanto, Bang Yanto. Thank you very much for your comprehensive introduction. Allow me to share some slides. Before that, I would like to acknowledge the presence of our resource person, Professor Yusma and Ibu Iim. I enjoyed your presentation, and I gained in substantial insight and knowledge about your presentation. And I also would like to acknowledge the presence of Ibu Radiatan Mardia. I thought I read her message. And I'm happy to be back here again to see some familiar faces of friends and colleagues. Thank you very much for the invitation, by the way. We are still in the morning here in Jeddah, 4 hours behind Indonesia. I'm quite younger, 4 hours than you guys. By the way, allow me to have to share some some slides, and I apologize for my seniors here. I believe that there are some seniors joining in these presentations, and I know that some of us have been quite having tremendous experiences and profession in their job currently. So I don't mean to be better than the others, and this is just I accept it as a chance for me to motivate our adik-adik in Jambi University. It has been quite a while after I graduated in 2003, and this is price very I really appreciate, and that's why I accepted the invitation without delay. By the way, thank you Pak Yanto, and ladies and gentlemen, Bapak dan Ibu yang saya hormati. I would like to share some slides, and I promise this presentation will not take longer. Can anyone see my slides? Yes? All right.
Yes. Audio.
All good? Once again, I think as has been previously mentioned by the moderator, my presentation is going to be about the global opportunities for English students. I see the topic is needed and timely. From my side, I will much talk on the basis of my experience. This is going to be an empirical insight, and because I have no authorities nor competencies to discuss theoretical frameworks as previously resource person presented us, and about these theoretical frameworks and the survey and anything, I leave it to the expert. So basically, I'm going to discuss based on my insights, empirical experiences. And this presentation is simply a sharing session. As I mentioned before, it's just to motivate our adik-adik brothers and sisters, the students. And in this going to answer some basic questions regarding what are the opportunities that English students have in current global world. And it's going to be quite similar to Professor Yusma has been already mentioning before. By the way, these two quotes are worth reading, in my opinion. I came across these quotes while reading and preparing my presentation on what the English students need to prepare to get into a job market. These two quotes are definitely inspiring and relevant to what I'm going to discuss throughout this presentation. at least there is one key element in these two quotes. First, learning language is not about learning words only. It is also about understanding the way of life and the thinking of the speakers. This is important, that in order to avoid misunderstanding, we need a comprehensive set of comprehension. We need a comprehension which are not limited to know the meaning of the word only. Well, throughout my presentation, I'd love to bring about these 4 main points. First, we will see what opportunities are offered to English students. And secondly, I want to elaborate on some skills that English students need to possess in order to grab these opportunities. And at the later stages of my discussion, I will leave the focus of our discussion on a familiar perception that many students of English have overwhelmingly thought that the opportunities are only in English-speaking countries. This perception, in fact, limits our choices. So in this stage of discussion later, I will bring about the importance of learning and understanding multiculturalism context in order to see greater opportunities in the world, especially for English students. Yeah. In this regard, as I'm quite familiar with the Middle East region, as moderator mentioned before, since the last 10 years, I'm on and off having some overseas missions in the Middle East. I'm going to discuss and to bring our focus a little bit about on the Middle East, the chance in the Middle East. Now let's move on to our discussion. For the graduates of English, I think for the graduate of English speaking skills, our world offers greater opportunities. Opportunity, it means here is a job-related opportunity, which for me, it means to get a job with good work, with good life balance. Opportunity means the one with job security, or opportunity means being able to pursue passions and utilize the skills in our job. So it means opportunity here is not an end. It's not the end of itself. The opportunity is hope to invite another opportunity. When the opportunity of a job, for example, comes, it will then create another opportunity and will not stop there, and so on and so forth. So someone can utilize this opportunity. Someone can utilize the means maximally and effectively of only when he or she has prepared the skills and competencies. And at the later stage, when he got the job, these competence and skills need to get further updated and upgraded. There is no word stop. There is no word enough. It should get updated and upgraded in order to maintain the opportunity given or to get better position and promotion in their job. So the ones who get prepared, of course, will be able to compete and use the opportunity for the benefits at all levels, either locally, nationally, or globally. So in current world order, especially in digital world, the limit is the sky. We don't have the limit. Our opportunity doesn't have the limit, especially in this world which has been relatively less border. I'm glad to follow Professor Yusuf's presentation before at the first session. She has also explained the role and importance of English across the countries in the world. So in my presentation, I agree that the English is at least the means for 3 important reasons. The important reasons, the first one, it is the international language. If you are proficient in the language, then you have a very important tool for success. It is used by around 1.35 billion out of 7 billion. It means around a quarter of the world population. And English is also spoken by the United States and the most prominent powers in the world. It is used in the United Nations and its organs such as UNDP, WTO, WHO, and so on and so forth. And English is also used by all the international and multinational corporations as their working language. And also the importance of English is also tremendously felt in the economic and science world. Secondly, in this age of technology, English is the language of the internet. There are more English language users online than any other language. And as a result, most websites and social media platforms are also predominantly in English. So if your website in English with strong language skills, it will be accessible to the widest possible numbers of users. Third, similarly important, English is a door for career opportunities. As we have already known that hundreds or thousands of prominent universities and higher education centers use English. And in professional jobs, one will get hired easily or promoted to higher levels if they are able to speak English, or if they have English competencies. So not surprisingly, our world indeed offers greater opportunities for the graduates with English speaking skills. And this is a question. Is English skill just enough for anyone who wants to compete in global opportunities? Of course, just enough is not enough. The more prepared we are with many skills and many experiences, the more confident we will be in all the competitions. This statement, enough is not enough, actually applies at all jobs, at all along the spectrum of the way to success. Ibu-ibu, bapak-bapak, I was and I'm always of the view that being a student of majoring in English give me wider career opportunities. Besides my personal experience, I also observe other colleagues from English major get the same wider opportunities in other work sectors. Being an English student might potentially add more tools of competence and skills. So my slide, this slide especially, is aimed at encouraging English students to prepare these complete packages of effective skills. This is the package of being an effective worker. So to prepare their future to have an enduring characters, to prepare their future to have to practice a good habit. And I hope that I'm accurate to say that here are just few skills that we as the English students will offer to our future employees, regardless of what industry we choose to work in. First, from our learning setting, we are trained to create a compelling argument. Obviously, English majors learn to convey written messages in a clear and coherent way. As part of this process, we learn to take a position, to take an idea, like a thesis statement in an essay. And we also learn how to make an argument that supports this assertion. Secondly, we are also trained, I believe that we are also trained to have the ability of proofreading and editing written work. Yes, of course, English majors are taught to proofread, are taught to edit and refine written pieces until these pieces are polished. The third is, I believe, we were also trained to deliver constructive criticism. We learn, and we also learn similarly to take, not only deliver, but also take the constructive criticism. We learn to give, and since our works or papers during our class often reviewed, often read by peers, by students, by other friends in the classroom settings. And another one, I also believe that we have been taught to read the big picture while making notes of the details. English students read, and I believe that we read a lot, and we digest massive amounts of content every week, every day. So we are pushed to pick out major concepts and to understand the flaws in argument, to understand the loopholes in an argument. So another one is, as we experience various tasks in a very limited time, I think we are also trained to manage our time, and to make prioritize in the middle of the abundance of tasks. I believe that we must have learned to manage our schedule well in order to complete the time-consuming reading and tasks of writing, and so on and so forth. Another leverage that we are trained to have as students of English is respect different points of view. We learn to understand and appreciate different perspectives as we attempt to understand the approach taken by various authors and classmates. And this is another valuable skill to learn the respect, to learn to respect others. We learn that there are typically many different ways to approach a problem, for example. And similarly important, I hope that these skills should be well built during our time in Kuliah. We often have a creative mind that enables us to compose poems, stories, and essays, as well as to think of a unique interpretation of a piece of literature, for example. So it must not be exaggerating if I'm saying that as a students of English, we are trained to we are trained to exercise creativity of mind. Last but not least, this is more technical skills that we are trained, which is able to prepare and giving presentations. We explain perspectives, we give presentation, we information verbally to others. This is our critical part of the educational process for English students. So as a result, we learn to give presentations, and which are very much valuable skills in the professional world. Then we must get prepared. This from the trainings and experience that I explained in the previous slide. I hope that English students will have almost all the skills that are required by many professional work, such as structured, quality writing and reading, of course, and another technical skills like computers and making presentations. We are also able to get time management. To work under pressure is going to be a common practice later on. We also have the ability to have a written and oral communication, and so on and so forth. And be creative in thinking. I think this is quite mind-blowing question, and I hope the answer to these questions of what is going to be in the future will be the guidance or motivation to all of us, to all of the students especially, and they can focus in preparing for their future. I think these are just some notes, and anyone can add more list on this job, which are most suitable for English graduates besides teaching? Actually, there are many. I will discuss later on about working at the international organizations, multilateral organization and NGOs and so on and so forth. There are some discussion later on. And I'm currently as a diplomat, and I think English as my basic language is really important to get this job and to practice later on to work as a diplomat. And interpreters and PR specialists. In PR, we need to tell a compelling story. It is about a client or a colleague, and so on and so forth. Of course, writers. We write a lot during our schoolia, our study. Editors. This is really related to our jobs. We can be a librarians, human resource specialists. Before joining Kemlu, before joining the ministry, I had the experience of working at one of the multinational company in Jambi. I work as a human resource specialist, and English is really important. And of course, another industry is tourism industry. So as I mentioned earlier, that we can put a lot of list in these opportunities. I put this slide just to give insights on the existence of many international or intergovernmental organizations in the world that Indonesia is participating as either as a member, either as an observer or just a contributor. Maybe not all of us knows that in all of this organization, Indonesia is paying significant amount of membership, which is a huge fee. We join this organization and we pay. Indonesian government pay for this joining the organization. However, unfortunately, not many Indonesians are interested. Yeah, quotation mark. With not interested to work in this organization. Compared to our friend in India, Pakistan, even African countries, for example, working in the OIC, in the Organization of Islamic Conference in Jeddah, Indonesian workers are less than 5 or 6 people out of hundreds of employees in the OIC. Similarly, at the United Nations in PBB, from almost 40,000, 40,000 staff PBB, Indonesian people is only working there 15 people, 15 orang saja. So I don't know what are the problems, and I think many Indonesians know English, but this is quite interesting, and I hope that from this forum, many of us will be teachers, and it can inspire our students to obtain in various international organizations. So this is my tagline: don't limit our world. The opportunities are great. Perhaps I'm not exactly accurate to say that, or at least in my time of learning English a few years back, when we learned English, we only thought that English is about Europe and North America only. But in fact, we agree that current situation demands us to learn to know that English should not merely be aimed at finding opportunities in the native English-speaking countries. As Professor Yusma previously mentioned, there are many opportunities across the world, in Korea, Middle East, in South America, and so on and so forth. So in fact, English is widely and internationally spoken. The examples that I previously described tells the varieties of jobs offered across the globe. And in this situation where English has been used in various occasions with varieties of people from different culture, it is not exaggerated to say the need and the importance for the students to understand the multiculturalism. in this regard, I think it is relevant to suggest that learning the cross-cultural understanding also means the transfer of understanding about multiculturalism. As we heard about Malay English, Singapore English, this is a kind of multiculturalism that we are going to expose into. I believe that some of us have been familiar with the word multiculturalism, the theory and the concept. But from my point of view, we need to learn this multiculturalism is in order to understand the existence of multicultures. It will help us to work with people from different cultures in many countries. So indeed, it is not only about Westerners. It is also important to understand different norms and cultures embraced by different people from all over the world. Not only about the dialect and accents, but also about the cultures of different people, because we are going to work in different environment with different culture, with various countries. So at the same time, we learn to how to speak fluently and eloquently in good and organized manner. This is the norms. Understanding multiculturalism helps avoid miscommunication, of course. But of course, to some extent, I would agree that to get more attraction, speaking English in a proper and correct pronunciation is recommended. So the idea of understanding multiculturalism is to have the feeling that the language is means of communication, and the purpose of which is to achieve the purpose of which is achieved when the people get our message across, and when the people understand what we are talking, regardless of the accents of the pronunciation. So the idea of understanding multiculturalism is also to avoid our common perception that the English is the language of the inner circle. We talk about inner circle is the property. It is not only about the property of the USA and Great Britain. It is mainly international language. Thus, many English as a foreign language learner think that they should speak English in the same way native speakers do. Perhaps this for me, this is a false perception. This feeling will lead to shame, inferiority, as a non-native speakers who cannot speak exactly as the British speak. So this shame, I think, may in turn result in non-native speakers avoid acknowledgement of the values of these varieties. We will avoid the existence of many other cultures. So we need to avoid this feeling by understanding multiculturalism. I will leave experts, the teachers, to translate how the classroom, how the curriculum will be managed in order to spread the understanding of multiculturalism. I think the slides are just my suggestions of how the understanding of multiculturalism is taught throughout the classroom. Yeah, as I mentioned earlier, having the understanding of multiculturalism also help us to recognize wider opportunities in the world. Allow me to bring our discussion to other geopolitical spectrum of the world, which might have been overlooked by many Indonesians, in which it is the Middle East. Not many of us really understand comprehensively about the potencies of the Middle East. Many of us think that this region is only about oil and rich countries. It is many of us thinking that this is mainly about the Center for Religious Studies. And many of us forget about the chance to send our students to learn science, to learn technology in the Middle East universities. Or we might think it is only about Hajj and Umrah. Or even worse, we think the Middle East only about Indonesian domestic worker, Babu. So this is a very narrowing mindset. While at the same time, if we know that many of us forget about the chance to work in the professional work in the area, where other nationalities, as mentioned before, India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, and Africa, I think we have competitive skills to compete with them. These other countries, our friend countries, are working there and grab the opportunities. And even Filipino, our colleagues from Philippines are much bigger. They have much bigger population in the Middle East, even they are not Muslim. And I have to say that the Middle East offers more opportunities than we thought, and especially in the Gulf, the GCC, Gulf Negara-Negara Teluk, Gulf Country Councils, which are famous for their rich of oil and petrodollars and so on, which are Bahrain, Kuwait, Qatar, Oman, Saudi Arabia, and the United Arab Emirates. It is more than we thought. More opportunities are given by these countries for English, for the graduates with English skills. This is just a little bit an update about the Middle East. There are around 35 million international migrants. So this is a lot. It is a huge numbers in GCC, in Jordan, and Lebanon. And the majority of the international migrants are from Asia, from Africa, from Egypt, and from Asia, mainly from, we call it IPB, yeah? India, Pakistan, and Bangladesh. And we know that in Saudi and other Gulf countries, there are rapid development of education system. English is not taboo anymore. Don't think that you don't speak Arabic, you cannot work in Middle East. Don't think it anymore. And with the English, there are many jobs offering at the Middle East. Especially since the Gulf War in 2003. I'm interested to present this slide. This is the expatriate population in Saudi Arabia in 2018. And in fact, Indonesia is only 4% of the expatriate in the Middle East. This is legal, documented, 470,000 Indonesian in Saudi. As a matter of fact, there are around 1 million Indonesian in Saudi, which half of which are not documented. Indonesia are among many countries sending our expatriates in Saudi Arabia. And unfortunately, 90% of which are to some extent domestic workers. Yeah, in fact, despite many opportunities, these domestic sectors working at home as an assistant of rumah tangga is still quite becoming the interest of many Indonesians. I invite many Indonesians to work in formal and skilled sectors in the Middle East. And yeah, the Indonesian government seeks to increase the sending of Indonesian workers. What jobs will be in high demand in the future, especially for English students? It can be in education, it can be in health sectors, hospitalities, in hotels, of course in oil and gas industry and sciences. We talk about medical sciences. These are among the jobs that are that's gonna demand high workers, not only from other countries. I invite Indonesians to work here in computer science, in information and technology, and in the business administration, and so on and so forth. As I mentioned earlier, while Arabic is important, English serves as the basis language to get hired and to secure higher salaries. I give the examples like Philippines and Indian workers. We know that they have the higher averages of English skills. They get more hired here, and they get more paid salaries than Indonesians due to their English competencies. I come to the end of my slides. This is my conclusion. I think it is the task of English Learning Center to equip English students with communication skills to adapt in various work sectors. I leave the task to prepare the students to all the teachers, trainers to equip them with the communication skills needed in various work environments. Secondly, as elaborated previously, many job environments require skills that are taught in the English learning centers. This includes reading, listening, and writing, as well as speaking skills. But don't forget about the importance of the understanding of multiculturalism in cross-cultural understanding context. And last but not least, I want everybody is determined and be proud of our choice of being the student of English language. As long as you get prepared and see the world wider, our opportunities will be open greatly there. Demikian Pak Yanto, that concludes my presentation today. I'm happy to get in touch with more people. I may be rich at these interests. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. It was great presentation. The thing that I try to highlight, I'm interested in your statement that English is just not enough. Even if you have a TOEFL score 850 and IELTS 10.5, it's still not enough. You need to have another thinking, multicultural understanding, and great personality. I invite all participants to have a question, and we already have 2 questions here. First from Ibu Melati SPD MCC. I agree to the opinion for not becoming the native English speaker as the reference point, because it will lead to the feeling for the imperfect speaker of English to our students. In intercultural setting, the knowledge of English has outnumbered the native speaker with their special cultural background. What we need to do is to appreciate the different Englishes. I think it's not a question, it's just a comment, or maybe you want to respond to this comment, Pak Ahmad Sofyan.
Yeah, I think I'm of the view with Ibu Melati, what just mentioned before. In fact, I'm quite happy to know that this is my experience. I have 2 kids currently studying, currently at the age of the number 1 is junior high school, and the second one is at the elementary school. And what my point is, these 2 kids are growing up in different cultures along the way spectrum of my assignment. And my first daughter speak like British, my second son speak like Indian English, and I try to teach them the difference of accent is not important at all when they speak English. And in fact, when I think everyone, especially most of the students who learn, let's say in Australia or in New Zealand, our kids are encouraged to speak English only at school. So they learn the English from their peer, from the students who speak native English. And at home, I remember that at home, my kids are not allowed to speak English, and the teacher suggested me to say that you have to respect your own language, teach your daughter to speak your own bahasa, in order to let him know the multiculturalism. So this is the examples that how many of prominent teachers and experts respect the existence of differences in language. Yeah, thank you for your feedback and for your comment, Ibu Melati.
Before we move to the next question, I have my personal question. How do you measure your Middle East people English in daily basis? Do they speak English very well compared to Indonesian people? Yeah, that's something that I wonder.
Yeah, actually, it's a quite varieties of skills. Yeah, in my work environment, when I met many professional workers, Saudis workers who can speak English, and they are Western educated, of course their level of English is quite impressive. But as a majority in general, when you talk about English, Saudi is prone to or exposed to English education system just recently, maybe not more than 20 or 15 to 20 years. I'm quite sure that in Indonesian, there are many Indonesians who speak English than Saudis. And so that's why since the last 5 years, during the current Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, one of the progressive prince, I have to be very careful in mentioning his name, of course. And he's trying to encourage many young Saudis to go abroad to learn English. So that's why they pay they give scholarships to any Saudis who wants to study abroad, not only for the students, but the government pay everything for their families in a luxury expenses. This is on the basis of encouraging many Saudis to learn English, to adopt the thinking of Western and modernization. That's what I'm seeing, what I'm thinking. I think Indonesian is quite progressive and advanced to some extent, but I don't know later on, because of this massive effort done by the government, perhaps it's going to be the situation will be different. I don't know.
Okay, thank you. Now we move to the next question, number 2, from Novia Lestari. I try to sum up the question. Is there any way that we, a student English education study program, has an opportunity just like your opportunity long time ago? Is there any way that we are from English education can have entrance test to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in Indonesia, just like what you did long time ago?
Yeah, this is a good question. And since the last 5 years, I think, yeah, around 5 years, there is a policy from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs which only accept we talk about the English major, English graduate students. The ministry only accept the non-education graduates. I don't know what's the story behind it, and they only accept the sastra literature, English literature or Germany literature, and yeah, this is a policy, temporarily policy, I think. And I cannot answer that much right now. And this is related to the human resource development in Ministry of Foreign Affairs. But what I'm trying to explain in this session is the opportunity is there. With the skills of English, you can later on develop your potential, your skills with the other substantial technical skills. If you think that as a graduate of language student is not into the standard, or is not allowed to join the ministry as of now, I think there are any possibility to continue to other to proceed to the master degree. Honestly, when I joined the ministry, I still used as SPD S1 bachelor degree, and one of my mentor at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs suggested me to just to continue my master as soon as possible, in order to grab the opportunity to learn the substantial knowledge of diplomacy, and in order to equip me with enough skills in this profession. So don't be sad. The opportunity is there. I suggest you to apply for, let's say, a master degree. If you don't want to be a teacher, you can apply for, let's say, the politics, diplomacy, economic, and so on and so forth. But you have the skill of English. This is important.
Okay, thank you. So
I'm sorry, I cannot answer that much.
Yeah, that was the answer from Pak Ahmad Sofyan, Novia Lestari. So don't be sad. Pak Yanto is still your lecturer. Okay, the next question from Ibu Delita Sartika, PhD. I think there is a kind of mental or cultural block among many Indonesians to see labor market abroad as an opportunity that they won't be able to reach. We've been complaining a lot about foreign workers coming to our countries, but do not really see equal opportunities for ourselves to start taking our chances in foreign labor markets. Do you think there is a specific training we need to offer to students to deconstruct this kind of cultural block?
Wow. I think yeah, there is a I'm not saying this is quite overgeneralization about the mental block, but as a matter of fact, this is the reality that we see. Before answering that questions, I would like to tell my experience in here in Saudi Arabia. We feel like sort of at the beginning we think we are from backward country where the Saudis just know Indonesia from their kitchen. Saudi just know Indonesia from their maid. Saudi just know their Indonesia from the driver who work with them. So when he look us as an Indonesians, even we use suit and need, they think that Pak, boleh saya minta pekerja satu. That's what the questions that make us thinking that, oh, from the mental perspective, they have their own overgeneralization about Indonesia. I think to overcome this problem, it doesn't. It takes quite some time. As long as we still send our domestic worker to any countries in the world, this image still is still in their opinion, in their mind, and we cannot blame them for what's happening now. And coming to these questions, what kind of technical kind of technical training. There are many actually, but what we, as I mentioned earlier, there are some skills, set of skills that we need to develop during our classroom setting, which are how to think confidently, how to speak confidently, how to think critically. And I'm quite sad. This is my experience when I register my kids in Indonesian school, at some Indonesian schools, and our kids are trained to follow exactly as it is. What the teacher say, this is the correct one. What the teacher says A, and the students answer differently with the same motivation, with the same target, with the same aim, but doing it in different method, it is considered wrong. I don't know. What I'm trying to say is the early learning system should support our mental development, the mental development of our workers. And please, I don't know who's going to be who need to take care of this problem actually. And we since the very beginning, since early child, our kids are taught to think inside the box, to think exactly as the teachers say. So this is not quite right in terms of future development of our generations. And yeah, I think I agree. If we need to do something, we are not late yet, and it is the job, it is the task and responsibility of the learning center how to create students who are able to speak out, to think they are important, that they can speak what it is in their mind, and so on and so forth. This is quite a long discussion actually when we talk about the mental block order and so on.
Okay,
Yeah, Pak
thank
Yanto.
you.
I think,
yeah, Pak Ahmad Sofyan. And I don't see any more question. So I think we already come to the end of this session. I thank to you for your time. Thank you very much. I'm very proud of you. I often mention your name in every class that I enter in my lecture time. You become the example of our students here.
Masya Allah.
Well, thank you very much, Pak Ahmad Sofyan.
Terima kasih.
It's great to have you in our webinar. And that's the end of our fourth section. Thank you very much, everybody. Now I'll be back to the MC. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much for Mr. Ahmad Sofyan, PhD, and also Dr. Yanto. Ladies and gentlemen, now we come to break session. But before that, I would like to remind all of you that we will continue this event at 1:30 p.m. Please join on time on same link. Thank you.